So the first thing that I wanted to do was kind of walk you guys through my PSAT scores to my SAT scores, just so that you could kind of get an idea of where I was starting from. So first I took the PSAT NMSQT in October 14th of 2020, and I got an 1180 on it. And then I took the PSAT NMSQT again in 11th grade, and I got a 1260, so you can see I did better.
Nothing feels better.
Based off of this, College Board actually gave me an estimated SAT score range. So College Board estimated that I would get at least a 1190 and at most a 1420. And College Board was not far off because I got a 1430. So I was actually above their prediction. Only 10 points, but still above their prediction. And I scored in the 98th percentile, which is great. And I only took the SAT once. The SAT test itself gets progressively harder and harder the farther you are away from the first test date. First step is to create a study plan. So this study plan will outline how often you are going to study, what you're going to study, like what form of studying are you going to do. And it will also have the days that you're going to do practice full-length tests. I will actually pull up my old SAT guide. Not exactly sure why it says 2021. We digress, okay? So this is my study guide, and it's literally just like a calendar, and you can easily create it in Word documents, or you can download a calendar off the internet. And what I did, so I used two like systems, quote unquote, for my SAT studying. So first, and the biggest resource that is free, completely free 99, anyone can access it, is Khan Academy. And I highly suggest that if you're not already doing Khan Academy practice for your SAT, that you start, because it is very good, it's a free resource, and the questions that you see on Khan Academy are very similar to what you will see on the SAT. Like if you have mastered everything on the Khan Academy SAT site, you will do well on the SAT. That's just like almost a fact. And then I also used some PWN books, which they have there. It's a math book that has like practice problems, and it just has like a more in-depth explanation as to like how to solve a problem like this. If you see something like this, what does this actually mean? How is College Board going to try to trick you to make you like select the wrong answer or not fully solve the problem out because they give you an answer that is not the actual answer, it's like part of the answer. That book was pretty helpful in that. And then I also did start using College Panda, and I used that for math as well. I don't think I did the full book, but I know I did part of it. So you can see one day I would do math, and then I would do SAT grammar on Khan Academy, and then I would do math again, and then I would do reading, and then I would do math, and then I would do reading, and then I took my full-length practice tests on Sundays. That's when I scheduled my full-length practice tests to be. And then I also did, like, in Khan Academy, there are practice tests for subjects. So like after you do a certain amount of math, you get like a 15-minute or 30-minute practice test that you can do, and I did those on Fridays. So you can see I just scheduled it all out so that I knew exactly when I was going to be doing everything, and that way it takes like the scheduling out of the equation. So now I don't have to schedule anything, I don't have to figure out the logistics, I can just go straight into studying. The next tip is basically just like stick to your study schedule. So it's kind of part of tip 2, but because it's really easy to like fall off of your studying and not do it, or skip a couple days and then it's hard for you to like sit down for like an hour or two, however long you decide to study for. I personally studied for at least an hour, but sometimes I do like a lot more, like especially on full-length practices days. This took me at least 2 hours, if not longer. I think sometimes I spent maybe 3, 4, 5 hours on practice tests on Sundays. So sticking to it is like the biggest thing, because it's hard to be consistent, but that is how you will get the results that you want. And then I want to talk about like where you can improve the most. So maybe you've taken the SAT and you want to like try to improve the most. Now most people will tell you that you can improve most in math, but I think I'm living proof that you can improve in English evidence-based reading and writing as well, because I have steadily improved in English evidence-based reading and writing since I started taking College Board tests. So it really just depends on like where your strength lies, and then wherever your strength lies, I feel like you should work on that and try to improve your score the most in that section. But that's just personally what I did. Some people say to work on improving more in math because it's easier. You know, math is more concrete, but I think English is pretty concrete too. So it's like, it really just depends on wherever you're stronger. So if you're stronger in math, then you can work on improving your math score. If you're stronger in English, you can work on improving your English score. And in terms of that goes into my next tip, which is reading. I know a lot of people don't talk about this, and people actually don't really do like this anymore, but the best way to study for the SAT is actually to just read more books. So a lot of teens don't read or if they do read, you know, they don't read often enough to get like the reading comprehension that you need for the SAT. And I think that because I am a reader like in my free time, that really helped with my evidence-based reading and writing score, because I read for fun. So when it comes to being tested on like analysis and comprehension, like that, it comes like second nature to me because I read so much. But you know, it's not really recommended. I remember like a couple years ago when my brother was taking the SAT, like they made you like memorize these long lists of words and stuff, and like they were like, if you memorize these, you'll do well on the SAT. But that's just not the case. The best way to do better in the writing and reading, evidence-based reading and writing, is to read more. That's like the best way. And it will also help you in your math too, because I am a firm believer that like the SAT is testing your ability not on how well of a student you are, because there are so many straight A students that don't get above a 1400 on the SAT. The SAT does not test your ability to be a good student and to know material, but it tests how good of a student you are at taking the SAT, because the SAT it really is a trick exam. Like all of the questions are set up to make you pick the wrong answer. Like they are not set up to just be like, if you know the material, you know the content, you'll get it right. No, they are set up that you will you will pick the wrong answer. Like for instance, in the reading section, there are passages that sometimes contradict what you know or what you might think is right in the real world. For instance, a problem will be like, the sky is red, or the passage will say that the sky is red, or the passage will allude to the fact that the sky is red. Now we know that the sky is blue, but when the question is asking you what color does the passage allude to that is the sky, the options will be green, blue, red, orange. And you might be tempted to pick blue because you're like, yeah, the sky is blue. That's the correct answer. In the real world, yeah, that would be the correct answer. But in the test, like the correct answer would be red, because the passage alluded to the fact that the sky was red and not blue. You see what I'm saying? So it really is like, you have to like know what the question is asking you and not rely on your own like common sense or what you know beforehand. And that's kind of like its own tip, but I just kind of put it in there, so yeah. And then the final thing is, it's really, really important that you take simulated full-length practice tests at home. And what I mean by simulated is, I don't know if you still need to wear a mask, but for me, when I was taking it last year, you did need to wear a mask. So if you do simulated, meaning you put on your mask, you have just your SAT practice test and a pencil and some water, like only the stuff that you're allowed in the actual test. And then you take the test on a timer. You don't look at your phone, you don't open your computer, you don't glance at anything else, because in the actual SAT you won't be able to have your phone, have your computer, have an Apple Watch, have a smartwatch, any headphones, any music. Like you want to take your practice tests as close to the actual environment that you're going to be in. That way, like you don't get comfortable taking the test a certain way, and then when you actually get to your testing center or to school, wherever you take it, then you're like thrown off because it's a new and different environment. Some like tips on the SAT school day, because it can be an anxiety-inducing event. I know it was for me. I was very anxious in the days leading up to the test and on the test day. But I think it's super important that like in like the night before, I know your teachers might say this, a lot of people say this, but make sure you get a good night's sleep. The day of, make sure you eat a good breakfast. Don't try to do any last minute studying. Don't try to do a full-length practice exam the day before the exam. No. Go to bed, get a good night's rest, wake up, have a really good breakfast, or if you're not a breakfast person, honestly, just eat enough to get you through the exam. At least, because I know I'm not a breakfast person, so I think I had like yogurt and granola and some fruit, which is enough to like give my brain energy to work during the exam, but it's not really a full breakfast. And then just like really, I took a lot of deep breaths on the test day, like just in, out, just trying to calm my heart rate, calm my body, get myself into a nice peace of mind. And also just really realizing like it's not the end of the world if you don't get the test score that you want. For one, you can always retake it, and two, like if there's a school that, you know, has a certain SAT requirement or SAT, you know, their average SAT, and you're trying to get to that average, it's like not the end of the world if you don't get a perfect score or the score that you're wanting, because there's a lot of kids that get into their dream schools without a perfect SAT, without even an SAT over 1400, and it's really not the end of the world. Like I did well on the SAT. I didn't do as well as I wanted to. It prevented me from applying to 2 programs, but like it was not that big of a deal in the long run. Like looking back on it, I was super anxious about it, but like now I'm like, I didn't need to be so like anxious about it because it really did not matter that much. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and comment down below. I respond to every single comment, and if you want more videos on like this, well, there's not really any more videos to make on this topic, so yeah. But if you did like this video, leave a comment down below. I respond to every single comment, and I will see you guys next week with a new video. I upload every Friday. Bye!